Most Volkswagens get expensive right around six figures on the odometer. A handful of VW engines didn't get the memo. One of them cleared 500,000 miles on the original block. Volkswagen never called any of these the durable one. Owners found that out themselves. We're ranking the 5 highest mileage Volkswagen engines on record, lowest to highest. Every entry has a name and an odometer attached. No reputation-only picks, no exceptions. A couple of legendary engines didn't clear the bar. They didn't make the list. Number 5, 1972 to 2010 Volkswagen Rabbit Golf Jetta Scirocco EA827 1.6-liter naturally aspirated. The engine nobody had to think about. This engine family dates back to 1972, and by the time it finally left North American production, it had quietly powered 3 completely different generations of Golf and Jetta without ever once being the headline feature on a spec sheet. Around 90 horsepower paired with the wide-range ACN manual transmission, tuned so conservatively that one owner running one in a 1986 Jetta GL reported, "It was down only about half a quart of oil at each 4,000-mile check, decades into ownership, with no other complaints worth mentioning." Like the simplest engines on this list, the EA827 is a strict non-interference design. Hydraulic bucket tappets, introduced to this engine family back in the 1980s, keep the valve train self-adjusting with almost no manual upkeep required. That same owner once snapped a timing belt at highway speed and recalled 0 internal damage from it. The engine simply stopped running, got towed in, received a new belt, and went straight back to work like nothing had happened. No internal damage, just a new belt and back to work. His Jetta is also the proof point for this entire entry. The EA827 topped 300,000 miles on its original internals, by his own account, documented with real detail rather than a vague claim. It's the least precisely documented example on this list, no exact odometer figure, and no second corroborating case turned up despite a dedicated search for one. But it's a named, dated account, and it's the only one of the 2 simple engine candidates for this slot that actually clears the 300,000-mile bar rather than falling just short of it. No official factory timing belt interval was ever published for this engine. Volkswagen leaned on the non-interference design and skipped a hard number entirely, on the assumption that a snapped belt was an inconvenience rather than a catastrophe. Decades of mechanic consensus, backed by Haynes service data, land on 90,000 miles or 5 years as the sensible preventative window. Run 15W40 conventional under VW Spec 501.01. or 5W40 to 0W40 full synthetic under VW 500.00 or 502.00 on a 10,000-mile change interval. Though plenty of independent techs now recommend cutting that down to 5,000 miles, given how old these blocks have gotten. There isn't one chronic engine flaw on record for this specific fitment, and that absence is really the whole point of including it here. The closest thing to a documented vulnerability is the water pump pulley bearing, which seizes with age and announces itself with a squeal or overheating well before it eventually takes the timing belt down with it. Catch that early, replace the pulley before it seizes completely, and the engine underneath genuinely has nothing left to complain about. And the next engine on this list has a lineage you wouldn't expect. Half its architecture, literally, powers a Lamborghini. Number 4, 2005 to 2014 Volkswagen Jetta Rabbit New Beetle 07K 2.5-liter naturally aspirated. Half a Lamborghini, all commuter. That comparison isn't just a fun line. Lamborghini's V10 is genuinely built from the same 5-cylinder logic, doubled up and joined at a shared crank. And Volkswagen's own 5-cylinder history goes back to the same rally-bred architecture that made Audi's Quattro program famous in the first place. This version, though, got detuned for a commuter car instead of a homologation special. And that detuning is exactly why it lasts. No turbo, no direct injection, a cast iron block. This is an engine that never gets anywhere near its own limits, by design. Because it's naturally aspirated, peak cylinder pressures stay well below what the 1.8T or the TDI experience on a daily basis. And because it still uses old-school port injection instead of modern direct injection, the fuel spray continuously washes the intake valves with detergent additives every single time the car runs. The carbon buildup that plagues modern direct-injected VAG engines, the kind that eventually needs walnut blasting to fix, simply doesn't happen here. It does run a timing chain rather than a belt, but that chain doesn't share the VR6's failure pattern at all, provided basic oil discipline holds up over the years. One community member put real numbers behind all of that theory. A 2.5-liter MK5 Jetta, 5-speed manual, reaching 330,000 miles with completely original internals, never rebuilt, never even opened up. The car was eventually retired for unrelated electrical gremlins, not the engine, which by every account was still running exactly as it had on day one. Keep it on 5W30 or Rivet's 5W40, VW502.00 or 505.00 spec on a 5,000 to 7,500 mile interval, depending on how conservative you want to be. That owner's only engine-adjacent repairs across those 330,000 miles were the expected vacuum pump and water pump, both textbook wear items, neither one a design flaw in the engine itself. The one weak spot worth knowing about sits away from the bottom end entirely. The PCV valve is built directly into the plastic valve cover, and years of thermal cycling crack the rubber diaphragm hidden inside it. That opens an unmetered vacuum leak the engine computer can't even see coming, because the extra air bypasses the mass airflow sensor completely. A rough idle, stalling on deceleration, a high-pitched whistle from the engine bay, and oil pushed past the valve cover gaskets onto the ignition coils as crankcase pressure builds unchecked. It tends to show up in the 100,000 to 150,000 mile window, right when an owner might start wondering if the car's getting old. The fix is a full valve cover replacement, annoying and not cheap, but entirely peripheral. The bottom end never gets touched, it never needed to be. And the next engine on this list has a reliability story that splits clean in half, because Volkswagen quietly redesigned it partway through its own production run. Number 3, 1994 to 2006 Volkswagen Golf, GT1, Jetta, Passat, New Beetle, EA113 1.8-liter turbo, the engine that fixed itself. It's legendary in the tuning world for a reason. A forged crank, a cast iron block, and a 5-valve per-cylinder head engineered with enough margin to handle double its factory horsepower on stock internals, which is not a small claim in this segment. Tuners routinely push these blocks well past 400 horsepower on nothing more than a bigger turbo and supporting fuel system, and the factory pistons and rods simply shrug it off. That headroom is a byproduct of Volkswagen over-engineering the bottom end for a much smaller factory power figure than it was ever asked to hold. But the reliability story for this engine splits cleanly into two eras, and the split is a real, documented architectural change, not noise in the data or conflicting opinions online. Early 058 blocks, built from 1996 to mid-2000, used an internal intermediate shaft to drive the oil pump, an external belt-driven water pump, and 65mm main bolts holding the bottom end together. Starting mid-2000, the 06A block deleted that intermediate shaft entirely, moved the water pump onto the timing belt directly, switched to a chain-driven oil pump running straight off the crank, and upgraded to 80mm main bolts for a genuinely stiffer bottom end. If you're shopping for one of these used, the production date on the door jamb tells you which block you're getting before you ever pop the hood. The bigger story, though, is fluid capacity, and it's almost comedic in hindsight. Early cars shipped with barely 3.7 quarts of oil, and the turbo's return line ran close enough to the exhaust manifold to cook conventional oil into a coffee-ground sludge under sustained heat. That sludge clogged the oil pickup screen, starved the hydraulic tensioner on the internal cam-to-cam timing chain, and let the chain jump timing entirely. Volkswagen's fix, issued via Technical Service Bulletin, mandated 502.00 spec full synthetic oil and a larger filter that pushed total system capacity up to roughly 4.5 quarts. Enough to dilute the thermal load before it could cook again. Proof that the fix actually works, and works completely. A technician documented early 058 block engine, the supposedly bad generation, reached 342,000 miles, third highest confirmed mileage on this entire list, on nothing more than strict, shortened synthetic oil changes and preemptive belt and water pump service. The flaw was never in the metal, it was in the oil pan. Keep to 5,000 miles on synthetic, or 10,000 miles specifically with the 502.00 spec oil, and replace the timing belt at 60,000 to 75,000 miles, or 7 years, always alongside the water pump, and tensioners in the same service. Oil sludging on pre-TSB cars remains the one thing that can genuinely kill this engine. Everything else about it is overbuilt almost to a fault. Follow the fluid protocol religiously, and even the flawed early block will outlast most modern engines built 2 decades later. The next engine on this list has a block that will outlive the car around it. The only question is whether you can afford what it costs to keep the timing chain alive long enough to find out. Number 2, 2003 to 2015 Volkswagen Corrado, Golf, Jetta, Passat R32, VR6/EA390, 3.2-liter naturally aspirated, the iron block masterpiece. Volkswagen squeezed a narrow 15-degree bank angle onto this 6-cylinder, letting all 6 pistons share a single unified cylinder head instead of the 2 heads a normal V6 would need, the same compact architecture that let the engine fit transversely into hatchbacks that were never designed to hold 6 cylinders in the first place. It's a genuinely clever piece of packaging, not just a badge-friendly cylinder count, and it's the same engine that made the Golf R32 a cult object almost overnight. Output ranges from 174 to 276 horsepower depending on the year and application, and the cast iron block underneath is mechanically capable of 200,000 to 300,000 miles without complaint on paper. The same block, in fact, that Volkswagen leaned on for over a decade across the Corrado, the Golf, the Passat, and eventually the R32 itself. So the block was never the problem here. The timing chain system is. Volkswagen's engineers moved from the older double-row chains to lighter single-row chains specifically to cut rotating mass and sharpen throttle response. A genuinely good idea for performance, but single-row chains stretch and wear dramatically faster than what they replaced. As the chain elongates, the hydraulic tensioner extends further and further to keep tension against the plastic slide guides. Eventually, those guides, especially the center guide routing the chain between the two cylinder banks, go brittle from years of constant heat cycling and shatter outright, right when the tensioner has nothing left to give. Two owners prove both ends of that story, and they prove it in very different ways. One documented a VR6 running to 380,000 miles, second highest confirmed mileage on this entire list, and proof the cast iron bottom end really can go the distance. Meanwhile, another community member got a VR6 to nearly 300,000 by refusing to treat the timing chain as a lifetime part in the first place, instead scheduling it as a 100,000-mile consumable and replacing it on a calendar before it ever got the chance to fail. That's the real maintenance payout here. Cap oil changes at 5,000 miles on VW 502.00 or 504.00 full synthetic, because anything longer is precisely what kills the hydraulic tensioners early. Technicians monitor chain stretch directly through VCDS, reading measuring blocks 208 and 209. A healthy chain sits near 0.0 degrees on that readout, and plus or minus 8.0 degrees is the hard ceiling before replacement becomes mandatory rather than optional. Budget $1,800 to $4,000 for that chain service when it comes due, typically somewhere between 80,000 and 120,000 miles, and treat that number as a certainty, not a maybe. Here's why none of that is optional. The VR6 is a strict interference engine, so the moment the chain jumps even a single tooth, once a guide shatters or the tensioner finally maxes out, the valves collide directly with the pistons. That's a $10,000 to $15,000 rebuild, not a repair, and it happens in seconds. The warning sign arrives well before that, a metallic rattle on cold start that lasts 1 to 3 seconds while oil pressure rebuilds inside the tensioner. Ignore that sound for a few thousand miles too long, and you're financing the rebuild yourself. There's still one Volkswagen engine with a higher number than this one, and it didn't need a $15,000 rebuild to get there. It just kept running. Number 1, 1991 to 2010 Volkswagen Jetta, Golf, New Beetle, ALH/PD, 1.9-liter turbo diesel, the million-mile diesel. Across the entire automotive industry, not just Volkswagen's own lineup, this engine gets cited as the benchmark for extreme longevity. The kind of reputation that usually gets exaggerated in car forums, except in this case the mileage logs back it up. The block is cast iron, built with a margin against torsional fatigue and thermal warping that most manufacturers would consider wasteful for a commuter car. Therefore, the tuning stays conservative on purpose. At roughly 90 horsepower and a compression ratio of 19.5 to 1, this is not an engine chasing a horsepower war. Every design decision favors the cylinder walls surviving the driver, not the other way around, and it's the same philosophy you'll see across most of this list. An engine that's bored, not stressed, for its entire working life. The early ALH variant leans on a rotary mechanical injection pump, instead of a modern high-pressure common rail system. That sounds like a downgrade at first. Less precise atomization, less finesse in how fuel gets metered into the cylinder. But it also means dramatically lower shear forces and operating pressures moving through the fuel system. And that's exactly why catastrophic fueling failures are so rare on this engine. Later Pumpe Düse versions trade some of that mechanical simplicity for precision, actuating their injectors straight off the camshaft for tighter injection timing. None of that engineering theory would matter without owners willing to prove it in the real world, over real years, on real roads. One owner logged a 2001 ALH-equipped car at 510,000 miles. Original internals, no rebuild, the highest confirmed mileage of any engine on this list. 510,000 miles. Nothing else on this list gets close. A second owner clocked a 2004 Pumpe Düse variant past 450,000 miles, gearing up for nothing more dramatic than another routine timing belt job, like it was an oil change. Put those two side by side and a pattern emerges that has nothing to do with luck. Neither owner describes a single dramatic repair, just a maintenance calendar they never fell behind on. Getting there takes discipline, not luck. Run fully synthetic 5W30 or 5W40. Meeting VW's 505.00 specification, changed every 5,000 to 10,000 miles depending on how hard the car is driven, fuel filter every 20,000 miles, air filter every 40,000. But the maintenance item that actually decides this engine's fate is the timing belt, due somewhere between 80,000 and 100,000 miles, and it has to come with a new water pump, tensioner, and idler rollers every single time it's done. Skip those auxiliary parts to save $100, and you'll lose synchronization catastrophically regardless of how good the belt itself is. The belt was never the expensive part. The parts around it were. The weak points that remain are all peripheral, which is exactly why this engine keeps reaching numbers like the ones just covered. The EGR system clogs with carbon over time and needs manual, physical cleaning to keep the intake manifold flowing. Thermostats degrade and quietly rob the engine of the thermal efficiency it needs to run clean. MAF sensors are notoriously touchy and tend to throw codes well before anything is actually wrong. On Pumpe Düse variants specifically, the cam-actuated injectors can erode their own seats over hundreds of thousands of miles, and running the wrong oil accelerates camshaft lobe wear in the process. Handle those, and this engine will flatly outlast everything else in your driveway, including, in more than one documented case, the car built around it. The pattern underneath all five engines, 5 documented proof points, not one built on reputation alone. Mechanical simplicity or conservative tuning that never approaches its own stress limits. Cast iron blocks over lightweight alloy wherever it actually counts. And where complexity was unavoidable, a single, specific, well-documented Achilles heel instead of a general, unpredictable fragility. These weren't reputation picks, and that's the point of ranking them this way. Every engine on this list has a named owner and a documented example crossing 300,000 miles. No exceptions, and notably, a couple of legendary engines that didn't clear that bar at all and got cut for it, even when their reputation said they should have made the list. 300,000 miles isn't achieved by avoiding one catastrophic design flaw. It's achieved by knowing exactly which flaw each engine actually has, and servicing that one flaw before it ever becomes terminal. The TDI's auxiliary belt components, the VR6's timing chain, the 1.8T's oil capacity, the 07K's PCV diaphragm, the EA827's water pump bearing. Whether you're buying used, restoring a project car, or keeping a current Volkswagen well past its warranty, these are the 5 engines worth building that purchase around, not because they never fail, but because exactly how and when they fail is already written down by owners who lived through it and put the number on the record. Volkswagen never called any of these the durable one. The owners did that job instead, one documented odometer at a time. And now you know exactly which 5 actually earned it. Which one surprised you most? Drop it in the comments and subscribe for the next verified countdown. This is Tom from Seats and Wheels. Thanks for watching.